I'm Jean Ann Duckworth, and welcome to 5 Minutes for Simple Joy. Today I want to talk to you about making bread. I don't mean bread like bread and butter or bread and sandwiches. I mean bread like pumpkin bread and fruit and nut bread, sweetbreads that you can use and give as gifts throughout the holiday season. I like finding things that really impress people, but don't take me a lot of time to implement. And that's one of the reasons I like making bread. You see, I find making cookies can be very tedious and time-consuming. You have to mix it up, and the dough has to be mixed by hand. It can take quite a while, 20 minutes, half an hour, to mix up a batch of cookie dough. Then pans of cookies, sheets of cookies, only bake for about 10 minutes. So it can take you an hour to an hour and a half to bake an entire batch of cookies. I just don't have that kind of time. Plus, let's be honest, everybody makes cookies. So even though cookies are nice to share with people, they're not all that impressive. However, I find not many people make bread. For some reason, when I give people loaves of bread, it really impresses them. And the part that amazes me is that it doesn't take me hardly any time at all to make the bread. It mixes up very easily. It bakes for about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the size of the pan. And in the meantime, I can be busy doing a lot of other things without having to constantly be popping into the oven to put another cookie sheet in. I can also make plenty of bread to give out as gifts, so this is just a perfect item to focus on during the holiday season. Bread is a lot more interesting than cookies, and it is certainly much easier to make. I have 3 different size bread pans. I have the traditional size loaf pan. Then I have another set of pans that is 4 kind of medium-sized pans that are cooked together, so that I can make 4 loaves of bread together, and 1 batch of bread will fill those pans. Then a few years ago, I found a great little bread pan that has 8 little mini loaves in one pan, kind of like muffin pans, only these are small loaves of bread. Again, usually I can get 1 batch to fill these pans, although sometimes I can also get 1 medium loaf of bread out of it too, especially when I make pumpkin bread. So when I do a batch of bread, 1 recipe, I have 8 loaves of bread. So all I have to do are 3 different recipes, and I have gifts for 8 people. I liked adaptable recipes. I have a great recipe for pumpkin bread. I use plenty of nutmeg in it. And instead of using raisins, I use dried cranberries and chopped pecans. And I make my pecans a little bit bigger because I like that nuttiness in there. I also have a real basic bread recipe where you can use a variety of dried fruit and nuts. So I make cherry almond bread. I make blueberry pecan bread. I make like an orange cranberry bread. It's very versatile and it's extremely easy to make. I go out and I buy tins to be able to give the bread as gifts. I can use these little mini tins and it holds 1 of those little mini loaves, or a medium-sized tin will hold 3 loaves of bread. I wrap them up in plastic wrap, and then I add a couple of tea bags to go with the bread, and it makes a really nice gift for my friends to be able to enjoy a holiday snack. Finally, this bread freezes well, so you can start making it at the beginning of October and just make a batch whenever you have time, wrap it up and put it in the freezer, and they keep really well. You're ready whenever you need a simple holiday gift. That's all for this episode. Thank you for joining me. I'm Jean Ann Duckworth, wishing you a holiday season filled with simple joy.